Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Y'all alright? Just thought I'd do a little streaming. Has been a while since I've been on here and done anything. Um, I don't want to show you any of the footage from this week's episode because it's like a lot of informational type stuff, a lot of talking and things, and so I didn't want to like show all the talking and all the things that are going to be in this week's episode. So I thought maybe I would just go ahead and show you guys some like footage of Bandits that I haven't uploaded. I've got a ton of footage, so I thought I'd play through it, and we can just watch it together. You guys can ask questions. I'll give little comments, tell you who we're watching, things like that. But yeah, I thought it could be kind of fun. So if you want to watch some Bandits, you want to see some stuff that I filmed. This first one is from like March, actually, so it's quite a few months ago. A lot of these little dudes are much bigger now, especially the babies. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about or anything like that, just feel free to leave some comments and say whatever you can. If the stream is having any issues, please let me know. I like to know if it's dropping frames or if it's smooth and you guys can hear me and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, yeah, just hanging out. I'm not sure who this juvenile is, but the cabin that's behind this juvenile was Tori's cabin for a while. For those of you who are a fan of the old Taurus, yeah, she lived in there. It's a pretty cool little cabin. I think it's actually also going to be our returning animal manager Mark's cabin. But yeah, it's one of the few like luxury cabins that are here at the VMF. I know that in these first couple of clips there's just a ton of background noise of weed whackers. I don't know if you guys can even hear the audio in the video, but we'll see. Yeah, just a good way to come on by and check out some banditos. Big old yawns and stuff. Look at that beautiful face. Did you guys catch the episode from this past week of Oreo over at Care?
Marco.
There's something Vervets always do best. Clean themselves. Probably get banned from YouTube for showing that. Great. Look at those feet. I love their little fingernails and stuff. They're so monkey-ish, so people-ish. I wanted to say they're just like little people. Furry little humans. But that makes sense, right? That's Marco. He's really easy to identify because he's got a snaggletooth. I don't know if you can see it yet. It's just here on his mouth. On his left-hand side of his mouth, he's got this front canine is popping down. That little dude decided to get in the hammock and take a nap. It's the ultimate relaxation. Look at, it's so chill. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Kim. I wish I could be doing that all day long. It's hot in this cabin right now. It's finally like getting out of winter, you know, so the weather just starts to like fluctuate like crazy. We get these like days of just like rising heat, and then it sort of goes down into cold, and then rising heat, and then down into cold. And it looks like his eyes. He's just tired. Look at those teeth. Oh man, and that's why you don't want to get bitten by a vervet. Look at those canines. You can actually see that like this one is off kilter. You know what I mean? Like, it's jutting out more this way. You can see up here. It's drool all over his bottom lip.
It's a pretty easily recognizable male.
I'm just like saying in the video now the same stuff that I just said.
Snaggletooth he's got hanging out the left side of his mouth.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to know about or anything like that, feel free to go ahead and ask me. Hello, Cherry. Yeah, they've got such good personalities, and all of them have such unique personalities too. That's the best part. It's just like, I don't know, you always know what to expect from certain monkeys. Like there's this one bandit, his name is Greg, and we'll see if he pops up in here at some point, but he's just so like forward. And he's not really aggressive, he's just very mischievous and curious, and he's not scared of people at all, so he'll just like come right up to you, and he's just always interested. Always wants to mess with people, see what kind of trouble he can get into, see if he can steal anything especially. Cherry, the names are usually people who have donated to name a monkey. So like the orphans during baby season all get to have, like you can sign up on a list beforehand. I don't remember how much it is. I think it's like $85 to $100, something like that. And obviously that money goes to the VMF to help with the monkeys themselves. But you put your name on the list so that when an orphan comes in, you can say if you want to do a boy or a girl, and then the baby comes in, you get notified if you're the next one on the list, and then you get to name the baby whatever you want to name it. Unless there's another monkey here already named by the same name, then we try and do a different name just not to, you know, mess with anything, because it would get too confusing. But the bandits are basically the same thing. I think there's still quite a few bandits who haven't been named, and I also think the cost for naming bandits is cheaper than the cost for naming the babies. So if you are interested, you can always email, and the best email is this one that I'm about to put into the chat. So that's like the best email address to email for any sort of questions about anything with like volunteer related or like sanctuary related stuff, just because I can't always answer all the questions. I don't really have a say in a lot of the things that goes on. Eat some peppers. Cherry, yeah, just email info@vervet.ca.org and let them know that you're interested now, because that way you'll be all set up for when the time does come. Otherwise it can be hard to get on that list once it's already all filled up during the season.
Pretty sure he's a boy.
Leslie. Yeah, those
he's like over a year
centipedes
old.
and millipedes, those are the ones you're thinking of. The
Year and a
centipedes
couple
are like
months.
more flat looking. Those are the really poisonous ones. The millipedes are like the round ones that sort of look like just big roly-polies, and those are the ones you've seen in the videos a bunch. That would be your reaction right there too, if you were standing there and one of those millipedes came by. Something must have just crawled on his leg. They were looking back like, what the
I don't know
heck?
what happened.
That was good. There's all sorts of stuff out here though. I mean, there's all sorts of spiders and snakes, and it's Africa, you know? We're out in the bush, so the more wildlife the better. Definitely don't discriminate against any insects out here. Thanks, Tammy. Appreciate it. Everybody here, all the volunteers, and everyone worked pretty hard. Nikki, right now I'm not sure how many are here. It varies depending on the time of year. Sometimes, I think generally we have like,
Fluffy stuck up, I can't remember.
like 10.
Oh no, it's Coquelicot. That's who this is.
10 staff members or so.
Coquelicot.
15 staff members, something like that. And then we can have like I know there's been like 40 people here at one point in time. That's volunteers and staff and interns. But yeah, it totally varies. I really have no idea. I'd have to look at like the schedule right now to see how many volunteers are currently here. But generally I'd say there's around like 10 volunteers to like 20 volunteers most of the year. Oh yeah, Almond Eyes comes by constantly. Was here earlier today. She's just, she's Almond Eyes. She always wants something, but these days she's been bringing around her
I don't know who
boys.
this is.
She's a little, I don't know how to put
That's
it friendly. She's making her rounds with the male vervets this time of
One
year.
of these up here is
every
Ewok's
day it
kid.
seems like she's bringing around a new male compatriot. Just saying. This one's so cute. Ewok's kid. That coloration on the face he's much bigger now because this is back in March, or end of March. But these days he's much darker, but he's still got that like little bit of a pale chin and some pale around his eyes. It's pretty cute. So much of filming the bandits is just like following them around and hoping they don't get scared.
Been foraging all day long.
Tammy, no, I'm from Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Venice Beach and a place called Palos Verdes. And it's my hometowns. And then I came out here as a volunteer in 2007. A little trip that I was doing, volunteering different places. And then, yeah, did a documentary and then stuck it out here. Most of the staff and volunteers, though, are all international. Dave Dutoy, our sanctuary founder and director, is South African. Dutoy is a very South African last name. But yeah, he's the only South African that, well, that's not true. All the local guys that work here are South African, but he's the only like person that is involved with the staff and stuff that are South African. All the local guys are like, they do their own thing because they've been here for 10 years, 15 years working here. So they don't do like the volunteer jobs and things like that. They do like the harder work, the like more technical stuff. But the people who are all doing like the volunteer type work and the like basic things and the staff members, those people are all generally from all over the world. I know we have a lot of French people here at the moment. You get people from the UK, you get people from Spain. I know we've had Mexico and yeah, all sorts of places. Russia, Australia, a lot of people come from Australia, all sorts. Sybil's doing great, actually. She's in with, Sybil is in with Shanti Ray right now. So I have an episode coming up soon about the blind monkeys, because the blinds all just moved over to an enclosure, except for Sybil and Shanti Ray. And they've just stayed back while like things are getting sorted in the new enclosure while everyone else is getting more accustomed. They've got all the space because now they're on their own, so then eventually they're going to move over to the new one when there's like more time in the season and more people available. But yeah, Sybil's doing awesome. She's just hanging out, enjoying life. Diane, yeah, it's hard this time of year to grow a garden because
2-year-olds
annoying me. Stuck in the headphones.
won't have to. Most of these don't have names at all.
Yeah, it's hard this time of year to keep a garden going just because it's so dry. There's no rain at all, and water is pretty hard to come by. So I try not to use too much water. All the water I use for my garden is generally recycled from my dishes and stuff like that. So I'm pretty relaxed about my garden. And I went away for about 2 weeks recently, and a lot of it died down. So I've been trying to regenerate a lot of it, but you know, it's one of those ongoing processes. Especially in a situation like this, you just got to work with the seasons. And I enjoy it. I enjoy not having to do it all the time and just kind of going with what happens. Look at how scared they get. I love that. Just like the awareness. Calmly drinking, rattling sounds, alarm call, turn around, scared. What's going on? Okay, nothing. Go back to drinking. We're all good. Kurumice, or however you spell your name or pronounce it. Sorry if I butchered that. No, the bandits don't get to adopt. So The bandits are actually, so they're a wild troop. I'm gonna turn down the audio in the video if I can. So the bandits are a wild troop, and they are like a mixture of all sorts of different monkeys. Some of them are like ones that wandered onto the property at some point in time. Others came from inside of troops and would just like continuously escape, and we'd put them back in, and then they'd come back out, and I was like, all right, fine, you can stay out. So they joined the bandit troop. A lot of them, the majority, were born into the bandit troop, the younger ones at least. So the thing with the bandits is that they're wild roaming. They're free to go all over the sanctuary as they please. Morning, Misty. Um, and so, because they can do that, they don't really like they stay on the property for the most part, but they don't really have a way to we don't have a way to get them into like a fixed location. So when babies are getting adopted, there's a couple of things that are really important. One, the most important thing is that the babies can get milk. And the only way they can get milk is from the bottle, because the females aren't lactating if they haven't given birth. And a female that has a baby that has given birth is very unlikely to just take another baby on. It's a lot of work. Most females don't actually want two babies in the end of the day. So we can't give a bandit a baby, primarily because there's absolutely no way after the bandit would have the baby to be able to give the baby any milk, because with the babies in the troops, we have the feeding cages inside the troops, so the babies can come up to the feeding cage, which they're accustomed to, and they can go right to it and get inside and get milk. But with the bandits, there would be no way to regulate how much milk a baby's drinking, or if the baby is even being brought to the place for milk. So there's just like a lot of things with that. And then also, it's really hard to trap the bandits. So if there's an injury or something, it would be nearly impossible to bring the baby back in. It's really difficult to monitor the bandits because they can just roam free and so easily and jump through the trees and run off. So it's like really tough to be able to see where they're at, where they're going, and then follow them. And for the first weeks of a baby being released out into a troop, you need to be able to monitor the babies. And if you can't, then it's going to make life really hard. So there's like a long list of reasons, but the primary reason is that like the central point is that the bandits are a free roaming troop, and there's just no way for us to keep control over the baby situation if they were to join the bandits. I know that's a question. I give kind of a long-winded answer just because I know that question gets asked all the time, and I think it's important to clarify like the reason why, because people seem to be a little concerned sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely not something that we want to happen, and there have been bandits who have tried to take the babies out of the troops and stuff. And bandits that want babies, like Hawk, she loves babies and always wants to have a baby of her own. So it's a heated topic for a lot of the time, because those things can cause a lot of problems if the bandits do get interacting with the babies. What are you standing up on your back feet looking at? Oh, silly.
Made her nervous.
Yeah, Mrs. Gold's doing great, All the monkeys are doing good. The only time they're not doing good is when they get sent down to sickbay, which is usually, they've got something going on. But no, Mrs. Gold's she's doing really good. They forage so funny because they just sort of like I said, they've got the best anxiety. So you can just see it in the eyes. Like there's this constant kind of nervous twitchiness where it's like everything's looking around, like scan, 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 take a few steps, look around, scan, take a few steps, scan, look around. It's pretty great. So this is all just raw footage that I'm going through. Stuff that would have gone in a Bandit Diaries episode, but I just never got around to it, and now it's like a couple months old, so I figured I'd just show you guys and do this, and then maybe film some other Bandit stuff and put that out at some point as a better Bandit Diaries episode. Hello, Stacy from Clifton, Tennessee. Thank you, Scotty. 28 years of rescue and being mom and dad to 5 dogs, 5 cats, 2 birds, and a horse. We know the difficulties you face. Is there any place online where you can view your documentary on the Vervets? Yeah, if you want to view my documentary, please just send me an email to Vervet Forest at gmail.com. If you send me an email there, I will get back to you, and I'll let you know how you can watch the film, because there's a little bit of a secret thing with it. Tammy, I don't know. Maybe you got a slippery trigger finger on that enter button. What do you mean, do we allow the bandits to interact with the others? So the bandits can, if I'm interpreting your question correctly, the bandits can interact through the fences, basically. This is why there's a lot of fights between the bandits and the monkeys inside the troops and stuff like that. But we try to keep any sort of like other interaction to a minimum, just because you don't want to
snake alarm cause
any problems.
That little one's just freaked.
Cherry, lifespan is varied. In the wild, it's usually about 15 to 20 years, I'd say, but we've had vervets that are like 31, 32 years old, super old. They're so funny when they're old looking too. Like they just look like old monkeys, just wrinkled and haggard, and their coats are all disheveled, and they get so skinny and stuff. It's pretty great. Thanks again, Scotty. No, I haven't seen the bush baby ever. I don't know. They do grow so fast, Misty. It's incredible. Like all these ones that you're seeing right now are so much bigger. None of these babies look the same, and they're all little terrors.
She's always been big like that.
They just, oh my gosh, they're so ridiculous.
She's got that tag on her right ear that hangs down.
Tony took himself out into the wild. That's how the bush babies do. They just, they don't need like that extra sort of
when you stand up too quick.
So they just go out on their own.
They realize
once they're ready.
Someone's there. That's why it's not easy to film these guys. They're very aware of everything that's going on around them.
The best thing for like
when you move,
filming one of these monkeys, or any monkeys it seems, is when you walk up to them to film them, you don't make eye contact. If you don't make eye contact with them, they don't know what to do. They get so confused. So like, you could have a very aggressive male or a very aggressive
back there,
female approaching you,
and the rest are younger.
They'll be eyebrowing you and staring into your eyes and trying to get your attention and head bobbing.
This female.
And if you just sort of like avert your attention and like don't acknowledge their aggression, they just totally forget like that they were angry. They don't. It's weird. Like unless you make eye contact and continue the aggression, they just don't know how to react. It's an interesting little thing. So a lot of the time when I'm filming them, I'll like walk up and I'll sneak up, keeping my peripherals on them, but mostly just staring at the ground or like looking down at my feet and just sort of watching them out of the corners of my eyes. And that distracts them and makes them think I'm not paying attention to them. And at the last minute, I'll just like swing down with the camera and get the shot that I need, and then they don't really know how to react because they weren't prepared for it. But if I were to walk up straight to them and like be staring at them and like making eye contact or whatever, then they know I'm coming for them, and it starts to make them really nervous, and they run away faster and they don't sit still. Cherry, we actually have a lot of people that are retired come to the sanctuary. Had some school teachers and yeah, all sorts of people of all different walks of life. There used to be a woman here who was in her 60s who was like an actress in the UK, and this is like back in the day. Like this is when I first came out here as a volunteer, and this woman was the first one. So back at that time, we had tents in the volunteer village. For those of you who have watched the what's it called? The tour of the sanctuary. We had tents in the volunteer village, and there was no cabins or anything like that. Now you can see the cabins, but this woman who was the actress from the UK, who was in her 60s, was the first one to build one of these Wendy cabins to live in, and it was so funny because like everyone was like, "Oh, I can't believe she's doing this!" Like, you know, this is so. Oh no, you guys are gonna get buffering. And so we were like, I can't believe she's gonna be out here like living in that little cabin, and then lo and behold, like, you know, 12 years later or whatever, she set the trend, and now everyone is living in those little Wendy houses. But yeah, so you know, I guess the point of that story, other than the little aside, was that there's plenty of people of all different ages who come out here. I've seen people with disabilities, you know, who can barely walk, who come out here and just like make it a point that they're like, you know what, I might not walk all over the sanctuary, I might not do the hardest jobs, but I am going to be with the babies. And they sit in, and it's like they are known that they are not going to be someone who's walking around doing all the like water bucket stuff or the like maintenance type things, but they are going to be with the babies. And sometimes those people that are only wanting to do that are the best ones for the jobs of taking care of the babies, because they're the most attentive and compassionate. Whereas sometimes with the younger volunteers, they're more interested in the socializing and like the vacation atmosphere. So yeah, I would say definitely don't count yourself out, no matter how old you are. There is something here for everyone. I think the hardest part for most people is if you are at an age or in a life situation where you do have some sort of disability, where you're in a wheelchair, you're on crutches, and it makes it really hard for you to even travel. Then that's a time when I think that like it becomes a question of like, is it really worth it? Because it is quite a journey in and of itself just to get out here. But yeah, overall, I'd say, you know, that's an opportunity for anyone to enjoy.
This is Beyonce.
Oh, Queen Bee. Yeah.
She's sitting outside of Sov Troop. And these little ones right here.
Exactly, Misty.
There and there, Nora and Shemesh. Babies from last baby season.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely go check that out. I'm alive
This
the very
one's
first
Nora,
time.
that one's Shemesh.
That sounds great. Just to recheck, you guys can hear the sound that's coming from the video, right?
And look, here's a Mr. Little Horst. Now Beyonce's visiting Titan. I mean Jet, sorry. Now Beyonce's visiting Jet.
Awesome.
Hanging out outside because he's got all the grass. And looky here. A little Horst. It's all nervous now. Help me! Help me! Buttercup. Stop following me and my baby.
Look at that aggro.
I'm sure it's like fluffy chops or something like that. Or fluffy suck up.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome, Misty?
Buttercup starting crap.
Can't wait to see. Just like, you know, there's gonna be so much cool stuff, especially with like the combination of computer technology with like
Shemesh.
just bionic human modification. It's gonna be insane at some point. The types of like diseases and disabilities and things that are so important right now that aren't gonna make a difference in the future, just because we're gonna be able to overcome them with our tech. Like, I believe in that wholeheartedly. I mean, you see it already. I think we were talking about that last time with even like people who have lost the ability to walk, and using VR to like help them
How
regain
watchful Buttercup is right now.
the understanding of like even like just the basics of walking and stuff. Yeah, time to volunteer is definitely the hardest part as well. It's always rough trying to find
Here's
all
Acorn.
that. Wish my internet was a little bit faster so this quality wasn't so low. It's a shame.
Everybody's watching.
I feel like you guys are getting chunky video. Morning, Jeff. Talking.
I was Skinny Junior and Skinny Junior Junior just talking to the other bandits. You can see how much they just are protective of their territory. Beyonce roaming around, everybody's just at the fence. Mr. Horst.
He's so tiny then. He's so much bigger now.
Acorn. Hello, big lady.
Yeah, they're gonna put a chip in your brain, Misty. Chip in your brain and just like robot limbs. Everything else will be the OG Misty. I think it's gonna be an interesting debate though, because there's so many people who are like completely against that idea of like putting a computer chip inside your head. It's gonna be, you know, I mean, we think it's bad now with like all the interpretation of current society with like people staring just at their cell phone screens and things. Like, what about when you have a chip in your head or like contact lenses that are just like, you have everything right there. You could be blanked out talking to someone, having someone talk to you and just staring at them and completely watching something else. Like, you know, it's just it's gonna be great.
I think this dude.
I
is the,
know,
like,
Picasso
alpha
Cat. I'm
bandit
very well
males.
aware. And I appreciate it.
100% sure.
I've watched your videos.
But
I know who you is.
he's quite handsome. Look at those eyes.
Yeah, it's such a different experience when you're actually here, Misty, and like seeing just you know, everything. Because like there's that adrenaline as well that
think
comes
he
with
showed
like
up
being
last year.
surrounded by a bunch of monkeys.
And impregnated a
very
lot of the females. But he was fighting a lot with the other males. And was always running around. But he's quite a good deal larger than the rest of the males.
We can all just trade brains. It'll be fine. Oh, dude, Disco Scotty. Dude, I don't think anyone should have a pet monkey at all. I think pet like wild animals is just dumb. Like, it's just rude, you know? It's mean to the animal. Like, especially most of these animals, these primates, are social animals. Like, look at those blue balls. Nice zoom in shot for you guys.
As you can see, their balls are blue.
So his are
Their
really
penises
vibrant
are red.
because
The
he's
blue
so
balls,
high
the
ranked.
size, the vibrance.
And that's why he, I'm just going to skip over because I'm saying that audio, but that's why he was impregnating so many of the females and getting away with it and stuff, is because he's like very much an alpha and he just showed up and yeah, he was doing a good job. And I think he's stuck around now, and I think he's sticking around bottom section with Hawk. But yeah, Scotty, I just think the people who have primates as pets don't understand what's going on. If you I'm gonna pause it again because I want to watch while I'm talking, but I want to rant about this. If you understand primates, or if you care about like wild animals, I think there's a certain point where it's like some people just have a disconnect. I feel like where they're like, oh, like this is cute, this does something for me, it benefits me, especially if we're talking specifically about like YouTube people with pet monkeys. Like, they know what they're doing, they're getting a specific thing out of it, but the side that they don't know what they're doing is that they're approaching a wild animal as if it's a domesticated animal. And domesticated animals have been bred that way for years and years and years. And these wild animals are not domestic animals. And so they have all of these tendencies and all these things that they'll do that, you know, aren't going to be congruent with like a pet lifestyle. And so I think that like you run into all sorts of issues, and I think the biggest thing with these people is that at some point they're going to turn around and go like, whoops, this was a mistake, because I don't know what I'm doing with this animal, especially once it reaches sexual maturity. You don't like just hang out with an adult male vervet. Like, that animal is going to latch on to you as if you're part of its troop, because that's the only type of lifestyle that it knows. And people would argue that there's other monkeys that are like, you know, oh, they're fine, they don't need the troops like that, and like they're much more adaptable with humans, and they're smaller and it's easier. And it's like, yeah, sure, if you can say that, but at the same time, like, you're still not fully understanding the psyche of this animal and the needs of this animal. And a lot of the time they feed those animals horrible foods and they treat it like a human. And it's like, you know, I think it's a personal moral question, is like, what's better, what's worse, and it's based on a lot of factors. But I think in general, people just shouldn't own wild animals as pets. And I think that most people who do don't have any idea what they're actually dealing with and what's coming their way. I don't know, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. Jeff, not really. This next episode is going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to talking about care right now. Jeff's asking about the last episode I did stuff about Oreo, and he's wondering if we can do a mini doc of these bandits fighting. He's wondering if I'm going to do a mini doc on care. Not really. I'm just going to like. I
see, it's all females right now that are fighting. The one that just walked by.
Kyle. I did a lot of filming while I was there of other stuff. Did a tour of the sanctuary, but I didn't stay long enough. I didn't get enough other footage, so I'm probably just going to like talk a little bit or show a little bit about like the facilities. My plan is to give you guys a tour, show the facilities, talk in depth about the foster mom program, and then introduce you guys to like the history of care, who Samantha and Stephen are, the two that run the place, and then also show you the long tits, which is their name for their wild troop of baboons, much like our bandits. So I'm going to do one more episode like that, and then I'm going back to care this weekend, and I'm going to do a catch-up with Oreo, and they've got two other orphans. One is named Mandela, and I don't know what the other one is named. It's a little girl. And Mandela's older, and he's already actually been introduced to a mom, and I believe is almost out in the troop, if not already out in the troop. Oreo's still with people because he's so young, and then I'm not sure about the other girl. So I'll be catching up with all of them and showing some more stuff. But as much as I'd like to do something like that, a mini doc about a place like Care, it just takes so much time and so much like more resources, and it's just not something that I can afford to do while still trying to put out weekly episodes, unfortunately. Let me just get through these comments real quick. Acorn's still in charge, Kim. Yeah, she can be calm if she wants to, but she's not always at all. Alright, let's...
On the right was a male, the dude up top.
Let me skip back a little bit. Here are my commentaries. Monkeys fighting. So this is a perfect example of how a lot of the injuries happen. Like when you guys will see in the baby season videos where it's like, oh, so and so got bit, or so and so had this happen to him, and people will be like, well, how can it happen? How come you can't just do yada yada? This is why. This is how it happens. I mean, this is a territorial fight basically, and it happens all the time, especially at this enclosure, which is D&D, I believe.
So see, it's all females right now that are fighting. The one that just walked by on the right was a male. The dude up top in the distance on the left is a male. It's all females fighting on the front lines.
Yeah, Misty, that dude with the male really doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He's just trying to get popularity and stuff. He thinks it's cute. It's just like, I don't know. It's just vanity. It's just really sad when, like, I don't know, people start needing to abuse animals to feel important on social media. Like, that's a good indicator of where most people's psyche is at. Because, I mean, when I say most people, it's like there's a lot of people that follow that and think it's great and super cute and, like, showing their friends and like, oh, look how great this is. And it's just like... That's all I can say.
I just got tagged. Grouch. Of course it was Grouch. She just ran by and slapped my ankle.
So,
It's a good way to get bit.
Yeah, what I'm doing here, sitting here with these monkeys while they're fighting like this, and like
always gotta
having
watch
her
your back.
be so aggressive toward me, this is not encouraged or smart. This is just not a way to interact with these animals. I've been here so long and I've been around them so long and stuff that I kind of have an idea and like I can do my best to avoid injury, but like this is not recommended. This is not something. If you're a volunteer here for the first time, that's a situation where you have a stick in your hand that's very long and you walk all the way around because they will come up to you and they will bite you. Like, no doubt about it. If you walk into a fight, they will attack you. This is Grouch. She's like super aggressive, high ranked, and she's just trying to tell me off. She wants, if I turn my back on her basically and stop looking at her, like, although I'm filming her with the camera, I am keeping an eye on all directions. And so the thing with her is if I were to like turn my back on her and not pay attention to what was going on, she'd be.
The other part about vervets is they're stress eaters. So like this one up here, on the left and behind.
Yeah, Cherry.
Munching on food in the middle of the fight.
Way more fighting than the males. So basically, the females are like in charge of maintaining the troop and watching everything that's going on. And they are the ones who do most of like the inter-troop fighting. And they're the ones who regulate fights inside the troop and the ones who fight between different troops. So you don't ever really see males in like a troop fight, but what you do see is the males fighting other males and warding off like potential threats and stuff. The males are like the alarm system for the troop. They're the ones up in the trees, prowling the outskirts, just making sure that they know they know what's going on so that the troop can know what's going on and making sure that everyone is safe. And then if something does go down, the females are right there on the front line. Now, you will find the males fighting alongside the
reason they're all
females
stressed
if it's
out.
in their best interest. But usually it's just the females. In these situations, it's just the females who are fighting against each other through the fences.
It's because Megan's monitoring right now and throwing out seeds.
So the monkeys in D&D have seeds, which is a highly prized commodity.
Yeah, you got an itch mid-fight.
And the bandits always want to get whatever's on the inside. Because the bandits are just like, they're foragers. I mean, all the monkeys are foragers, but they are opportunists, and they will reach through that fence and try and take whatever they can whenever they can. So,
Of course, after every fight, everyone has to groom each other, tell each other how good of a job they did.
yeah, I think I'm going to put a video
Conjo
or
up top
something,
just shouting about nothing.
in the coming months. That's going to be just my explanation using specific examples of primates that we have here of why primates make terrible pets. And give it a real good name on the YouTubes so
What'd
that
you find?
like people clickbait the heck out of it, thinking
grass?
like, why baby monkeys are the best and the worst.
How
and then people
new
are
are
like, oh
you?
yeah.
Oh man, that
Or
is
like,
a tiny new
monkeys
baby.
are the coolest pets. Not. That'd be horrible. Great title. Thanks, Amy. I like when I do them too. I like when you guys join in and we get to
Tiniest
talk about
baby is-
stuff.
oh my God.
It's a lot of fun.
Little Skeletor face. How you walk?
Look at that tiny little baby. Tiny little nugget. So small. So, this is a pretty good example right here of being able to tell the difference in age between two babies. Like this one's about a month, maybe a little older. This one's like 4 months, 5 months. Yeah. I mean, look at how much their coat changes as they get older. So their face obviously darkens. This area, the brow line, becomes extended and more pronounced. As they get older, this starts to grow more. And then, of course, their face is darkening. And then you can just see they change color completely. Their fur is this dark color, like the adults is most of the time, like when they're younger. And then as they get a little bit older, they start to get a lot more gold. They're a lot more light colored. And then as they get even older, that's when they start to turn darker again, just like the adults. So you can see the dark coloration on the back. Cherry, the interaction, the social interaction, like family dynamics between vervets and humans is so similar. Like, it's just so funny. Like the whole thing with like the females being sort of in charge of the families and like making the like real family decisions and stuff, and then the males being the ones who are like out there doing the like investigating, foraging type things for the family. Like it's very like old school human style, I guess, family social situations. That always fascinated me, but I mean, like, it's not surprising, you know? We're related. Hello, Mom. Everyone, my mom just joined the chat. Linda, that's the one right there. She's my real deal, Mom.
So this must just be a really young new mom.
Yeah, Misty, the babies can easily get injured in those fights because, like, if they're on the belly or something and then they just get grabbed and all that sort of stuff, it's, yeah. It's tough for them.
She's like, stop trying to go near that human.
Yeah, Jeff, exactly.
Have they left you?
She's like in a puddle of monkeys.
Two little ones left in the tree. These bandits are so jealous of these seeds the D&D troop have right now. Look at them just reaching through the fence trying to get it.
They really do lose their pink faces very quickly. It's pretty incredible. Tommy is great. I don't know if you saw the Tosha, the recap episode that I did, but his face is so cool. He's just got like all of these freckles and stuff. His face is very pink and just freckly. It's adorable. I really like the way he looks. You should have said hi, Kyle's mom. Why not? It's true. She's got 2 names.
Grouch.
No Grouch. She's so tough. I'm not sure who the highest ranked is in the troop, but shoot, if I have pit stains, I'm sure I've got some sweaty armpits. It's real warm right now. The sun's finally just starting to set, but it is toasty in this cabin these days. Grouch is high ranked. I think like Grouch and Ewok. Did you see that baby? I think Grouch and Ewok are pretty high ranked in the bandits. Look at this baby not able to hang on to mom right here. Watch this. Boop. It's like one back foot on, one hanging off. Oh gosh. I was watching this one this morning up on a tree try and chew through the tree to get like a dead part of the tree to try and find termites inside, and it was chewing and chewing and like ripping off all the bark and opened it up, finally got inside, and then just went like, what? like looked up and down, and there was no termites inside, and it was so frustrated. So it just like kept tearing at the bark, trying to get in. And it was like yanking on the branch, and then finally yanked so hard that the branch snapped, and the monkey did like a 360 and caught onto another branch and looked around like something had happened to it, and it didn't know what had caused the branch to break, and then just like grabbed its non-termite dry branch and ran off. These dudes, every time.
Everybody wants this. They can't have it.
That was just mean of me. I just teased
Mine.
them with that thing.
Gonna carve it. Take off all the green. Inside it's like a hard core. Carve out the core. Carve designs on the outside. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, but I haven't done it yet. I love when they sit like this and scratch themselves. They just look so ridiculous. Seeds falling out of your mouth? Yeah, dude. Oh, okay. Good job. It's too much.
Here's the big boss.
Oh, yeah. Paco, Merlin, all those, like, the skinny, funny-looking ones, the ones with the really intense brow lines, for sure, Jeff. I love those guys so much. I mean, Gabe, he's another one of those, like, the kind of weird.
You just farted, bro.
Yeah, that monkey did fart. Thank you, Cat. Have a good day at work.
There's a D&D troop hanging out.
No problem, Tosha. I'm glad I can answer your questions. If you have more, just let me know. Groot. What else we got? Oh, I know there's some cuteness in here. Yeah, Scotty. Air conditioning for sure. That's yeah. There's the positives and the negatives. In my regard, the positives far outweigh the negatives. There are some things that are like, I just wish it was a little bit easier, you know? But that's what you get. Comes with the territory. Can't complain too much. I think the stream just cut out for a minute there. That's good to hear, Scotty. You should come by. Come by during baby season. It's much prettier here, and there's babies around. But like right now, as you saw in the recap, or not the recap, the update episodes, just dry this time of year. But during the baby season, when it's raining, it's beautiful. And like it's all this that you're seeing now, this green, is not existent anymore. There's no leaves like this on the trees. It's actually incredible to me how much the landscape here changes. Just like turns into a desert basically, like from a subtropical rainforest to a desert. But the greenery lasts till around May. That's when it like really starts to go away. But you still get it in like April, March and April. For sure. And it really is like, it's the best in like December, January though. I love the babies in trees. Like the bandit ones are so confused by people because they don't ever interact with them really. They just see them from a distance, and like as they get older they get more and more wow, I can't think of the word, bold, confident. They get more and more confident, and they just start to like try and mess with you and see if they can push your buttons and press their luck. But when they're younger, they're so like nervous, and they just like will hide behind stuff sometimes. It's like, I can see you hiding behind that stump, and they're just like head down, tail and butt in the air. They're like, you can't see me if I can't see you. And you're like, no, I can see you. They just don't know. And then you get like 2 feet away, and they're like, oh, how'd you find me? And they run off. It's just like, dumb little monkeys. You guys are adorable. Yeah, Kim, talk to Tori all the time. Yeah, all the time. Just always talking about the stuff she's doing. She just rescued a bunch of like tortoises or something the other day. Turtles? I don't know. Just owls. Rescuing a lot of owls. They've got like hyenas, and she's updating me with the baboons and things that she's got. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place that she's working at. It's sponsored by the government, I believe. It's a private organization. I actually have no idea what I'm talking about, but I know that it's cool and that they have a lot more money and a lot more outside help and stuff, and it works out pretty good for them. It's a neat thing they got going there. And yeah, her Instagram is great. Do they get scared when they fart? I'm sure it's happened once or twice. I'm trying to think what things they do that scare themselves or they confuse themselves. Generally, it like revolves around eating. Like they'll drop food or something and like not know where it came from when they drop it, and it just like surprises them. The best is like when someone's eating in a tree above them and drops it onto them and they freak out. That's always fun. I think this baby's got 2 teats in its mouth right now. It's a hungry baby. Yeah, look at that. That is some serious drinking. That is definitely worth checking out, Kim. I'm not sure how easy it would be to find in South Africa, but yeah, if they've got small ones, that would be really cool. The biggest problem is the power consumption, just because we're on solar, and the wiring that I have to my cabin in particular is like not super high gauge wire, and so it can't take a large electric load. But like my fan that I have, you have to have a limit to your fans. I think it's like 40 watts or something like that. So most air conditioners are quite above that limit. But yeah, I saw a friend of mine just showed me a really neat invention that somebody came up with that was like, they built a board. They took a board of wood and drilled holes in it, bottle cap size holes, and then they took 2-liter plastic bottles and they cut the plastic bottles in half and then twisted the front end of that plastic bottle into the what's it called? Into the holes, and put that in the window, and it blocked up the whole window, so the airflow had to go through these plastic bottles, and allegedly that shape in that situation causes the air to really cool down, and it's like a free air conditioning unit basically. So I was gonna try and build one of those, but if there is something out there that like could run off of a battery pack or something, or is small enough that like it doesn't take a huge amount of wattage, or I could even just get like a solar cell that I could put out and charge into that, yeah, I'd easily spend $120 to buy something like that to make quality of life a bazillion times better. I'll have to look into that, because I know these summer months are gonna get hectic. Scotty, dude, it's so hard to go see movies. There's a movie theater in Polokwane. Yeah, there's a movie theater at the Mall of the North in Polokwane. And that's like a 2-hour drive away. And the movies that they usually get, they had Black Panther. I saw Black Panther there, actually. But the end of the movie, like the last 15 minutes left in the movie, all of a sudden the sound just cut out. And like, you know those air horns that like they use like in like DJs who use like like that kind of stuff? Sorry, that was really annoying. The sound in the movie of Black Panther, like 15 minutes till the end, just started doing that, and then that's how the movie was for the last 15 minutes of the whole movie. It was just this blaring like siren air horn coming through the speakers, like ear-piercing level of intensity. And we left because we just didn't want to sit through that. And like I went outside and I was like, "Hey, you guys, this thing." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we know." Okay, but are you gonna fix it? Like, "Oh no, yeah, we'll fix it." okay. We went back in and they like turned off the movie and turned it back on. As sound was still broken, and we were just like, all right, screw this. We just left. And I think I've seen one other movie there, and it's always just weird things going on at that movie theater. Which is funny because it's like a really nice movie theater inside of this giant mall. But yeah, it's hard to see any movies. And as for Marvel, I don't know. I loved the original Avengers. I loved the original Iron Man. Um, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, for sure. Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that one was brilliant. I loved that film. That movie was so funny. Both of them were great. Yeah, for sure. I think Guardians would be my favorite. But all the Avengers, I like all of them, to be honest. Like, I really like that universe. Spider-Man, I don't know. I never was really into the whole, like, the Tobey Maguire days and all that stuff. No, not really. I don't know. Yeah. But the new Spider-Man kid's pretty good. Tom Holland, I think that's his name. Yeah. Captain America movie, the first one was really good. They make solid films. Yeah, Margaret, these are all the bandits that we're watching right now. So they're the wild troop of monkeys at the sanctuary. So they have to nurse from their moms. But yeah, the females in the troops also, who are the adoptive mothers, they allow the babies that they've adopted to nurse with them, which is awesome. There's no proof that the babies are getting nutrients from their mom. They're not. We don't know if they're getting any milk, but it's for sure that it gives them comfort and it helps them bond with each other and stuff. So that's, you know, important. Misty. Yeah. Man, there's nothing like a surprise poop. Oh, Kim, yeah. That south is humid too. Oh my gosh.
We're gently speaking.
We're heading into that. The summer months here when it's raining are very humid. You get those days that it's like, oh, it's 95 degrees, but then it's also like another 10 degrees of humidity, and then there's no wind whatsoever, and for some reason the sun feels closer than any other place in the world. Why? I don't know, but it does. These babies just roughhousing in the trees. I melt all the time. What? Janet, that sounds awesome. Swamp cooler. Called Arctic Air. I need to check that out. Yes. What is this? I like what this is already. I like what I'm seeing. Oh, buddy, you guys are changing my life right now. I like where this conversation is going. Yeah, exactly, Janet. Exactly. It's, yeah. You understand. It's like, it's so different for some reason. It's wild. Yeah, Misty, you have very similar weather. We've had a couple Australians, quite a few Australians, but I remember one dude came through and I was asking him, I was like, so how does this compare? And he was like, it's exactly the same. It's just like between like the desert-esque landscape and the weather, its type and everything. It's just like, yeah, I know this place. Jeff, so funding is a tricky thing. Basically, like, the most funding comes from volunteers coming to work, and then the other side is any donations, like, that you guys all donate, or that other people donate. Sometimes we get, like, big grants and things. I know they're always working to get grants. But funding for, like, I don't work on the finance side. Like, that's handled by Dave, who owns and runs the place. So he's the one who like can say where all the stuff goes, all the money goes. But I know that like the primary costs for everything are food, gas for picking up food and like transporting stuff, and then like vet bills, and then land itself is a totally different thing. So like the whole Vervet Forest, not sanctuary, but like the Vervet Forest, that whole idea is like its own account. It's its own thing, and that's more of like a slow trickle where it's people are raising. I think it's like £1,000, which is like what, $1,100 something probably, $1,200 something. I think that's how much it costs for like 1 hectare of land or something like that. Yeah, I think it's like around £1,000 for a hectare of land. I'm trying to like convert everything between like I think hectares are 1 hectare is like 2.5 acres. Yeah, a hectare is 2.4 acres, and it's like £1,000 for 1 or 2.5 acres. So the idea is that people are like prompted to try and raise enough for like 1 hectare or 2.5 acres of land, and then with that, the hope is that it'll slowly just build up. And so when you do donate that, you get your name on a brick on the wall in the little cottage area. I'm not sure where we're at. I haven't spoken to Josie about the specifics in a while, but I know that it's happening constantly. There's one of a current volunteer. Her name is Tracy Gray, I believe, and she has created a GoFundMe for. I'm just trying to find this email that she just sent me. She started a GoFundMe, I believe, to raise money. I'm just trying to find this. She started a GoFundMe that you can donate to if you want to help raise money for the forest itself. Yeah, Tracy Gray. Just Giving, not GoFundMe, Just Giving. Put that link in the chat right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I don't know how she's doing. But people do this from time to time. Yeah, she only has £20 right now. So she's looking for £2,000, which I think will get her 2 hectares of land, is the idea. But she wrote up some stuff about it. If you guys are interested in a little deeper dive of stuff about it. And if a lot of you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out this link, which is a description of what I'm talking about right now, in very broken, trying to figure out brain stuff as I talk. That page right there, the Vervet Forest page, tells you about the whole program. Not the program. Oh my gosh. It tells you about the forest that we're trying to create as a release site for the monkeys that are in the troops, because that's the ultimate goal of the Vervet Forest project. Yeah, Scotty Guardians is awesome. That's awesome. Like little figurines of Rocket and Groot. It's just so funny. Like, I love that humor too. That sense of humor is amazing. How many times can we see Uncle Ben die in 2 decades? Oh man. Yeah, Margaret, the bandits are all wild. So although we've vasectomized all the males at 2.5 years of age, anything can happen, especially when roaming males are coming in that we don't have any control over. And so the bandits have live births. Obviously they're live births. They give wild birth quite often. Yeah, Jeff, the branches, like, it's so funny. Especially the little ones, like, that just sway on these twigs. And then, obviously, they break so many branches, too. No, Misty, I don't have that anymore. I think I actually deleted that one. I don't have that reaction. I could recreate it, though. That video would probably still make me have the same reaction every time that I watch it. That's awesome to hear, Ches. Yeah, they're pretty fun. They're really funny. Kruger is a beautiful place to go. But so is the Western Cape. You guys get great wildflower blooms out there, don't you? Yeah, vet visits are always really expensive. Yeah, Kim, Dave and I actually looked into that for a long time when we were like first looking at all the solar stuff and trying to figure out what would be like the best way to go about it and things like that. We were talking about it a lot, and one of the things that he was doing was he was contacting Solar City, which is the solar side of Elon's company, or Elon's solar company, the solar side of Tesla, I guess, and looking into trying to get some of those because their battery systems are just out of this world. But yeah, it would be cool just to have like electric cars, electric everything. You gotta wait too long for all the good stuff these days. Care is about an hour and a half from here, 2 hours from here, I think. Yeah. Greeky Reserve, Greeky Nature Reserve, I think is the reserve they're on. But yeah, they're about 2 hours from here. But I'll be going back this weekend.
This is Claire. Her bandit baby.
Yeah, Sarah, not Sarah, maybe Sarah. Sarah, the cameras and gear and all that stuff that I use is self-funded. It was all stuff that I initially bought to do the documentary, and then I've slowly built stuff up, like because of the Patreon. I was able to, when I went back home Christmas time this past year, I was able to get a new camera, like a little this camera that you're actually watching, the stuff that I filmed right now. I was able to get that, which has helped me incredibly. And I built a new computer recently to be able to like actually process a lot of the footage and stuff because I was having trouble with my laptop. So all the stuff that I use for everything is all my own personal stuff, and I spend all of my own money on it. So I try as much as I can to use the donations that I get personally and like the Patreon stuff to put back into this, especially like, you know, if it is coming from Patreon. It's like, to me, the best thing I can do is find ways to be able to like make the content better and give you guys new content. So yeah, it's the least I can do for what you guys are doing to me, which is allowing me to like continue on and do a job that I love. So I think it's a really cool thing. So yeah, if there is any desire to donate to me directly, Patreon is the best way to do it, monthly, and then you get those free photos and you get the end of the month video. And then the other thing you can do is, like right now with this live chat, there's that super chat aspect, which you can just click the little $sign down at the bottom and donate if you want to. So yeah, that's, you know, donations are the best way for sure, Patreon and through this. Jeff, I totally agree. I wish that would happen too, like an Ellen or a Ricky or someone like that. Yeah. Anyone who's just like has that sort of public
So
exposure,
scared of everything.
has the income, the finances
Hates
available,
people.
and then has
Kinda
that
great.
ability to like spread the word, I think could be super helpful. Like that's all we need is that one little thing. And then hopefully it would just get out there and people would be like, oh, I want to make this forest happen. That would be ideal, you know. That'd be the coolest.
Claire is very humanized. She loves people. This is the first year she's had her own baby in a long time. And the previous years, she would always try and steal the babies that would get into Gizmo Troop, which is this troop she's sitting by.
It's a true story.
She'd try and take them out as her own. Build a bond with them when they were inside the intro enclosure, and then once they got into the troop, she'd try and take advantage of that fact. So she hangs out around these parts, but now that she's got a baby, she's calmed down quite a bit. But she still lets people get very close to her.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you very much. Yeah, Lori, so vervets are actually completely silent when they play. That's how you know that they're playing, is they don't make any sounds. When they are making sounds, it means that there's something wrong, like there's a fight or something like that. So for the most part, vervets are actually pretty non-vocal when they're content. You'll hear lip smacking, obviously, when they're grooming, and that's like, you know, that's a very content atmosphere. But otherwise, I think like the happiest sounds that you'd hear from them is that like happy chatter. That's just like that kind of thing, is like them calling out, just being like, I'm excited about something. Yeah, that's about the only time that you hear them making any sounds, and then for the positive sounds, and then otherwise it's just like fighting and stuff.
These guys in Angle keep playing around right now.
Yes, Vervet's on the moon. 100%.
King of the bucket.
I agree. Vervet in a little space helmet. We should probably send Scotty. Or at least put Scotty in mission control, I guess. I'm just thinking of beam me up, Scotty. I just want a monkey to say that at some point. But I guess we'd have to teach the monkey to talk first. And nothing like a monkey in a bucket. They're so funny with their water bowls. Look at this. Yeah, go under. Get inside. We'll see what's in there. Maybe it's a portal to an alternate dimension. Ow. These doofuses. What in the world? Ah! Ah! Oh, that was a cool flip. They're so agile. Look at that. Wait for it. In reverse. Over one's head. Mid-air turn. 180. Boom. Pretty cool. I could do that, though. It's not impressive. I'm not sure, Scotty. It depends. We have like 12 local dudes, and then there's, I think, let's see. I think we have like 12 staff members. It's like 12 staff members, 12 locals, and 12 is just right now. We can, you know, there can be plenty more. And then the volunteers range anywhere from like 5 volunteers at a time to like 30 volunteers. So I think generally though there's like 20 to 30 people working at all times. That's what I would say.
Scared himself.
Yeah, please do, Misty. Please, anyone. I think they would totally be interested. I mean, they put so much animal stuff out and feature so many like cute animal videos on their video channels and stuff. And you know, they have their whole. They work with like Dan Fossey Trust for the mountain gorillas and all that. I've sent a few videos and things to them in the past, but never heard anything. But yeah, I'd love to get attention from Ellen for the show. It would be great. King Vegeta. King Vegeta? Vegeta? Why they look more aggressive? Because they're adults. Because the babies are cute and they don't have the understanding of what's going on, and you know, their fear is usually a cause for going and running into mom's arms, but with the adults, they just react accordingly and they'll be strong, you know? They'll come up and they'll try and fight and do that kind of stuff. So they're wild animals. That's the bottom line, is that it's because they're wild animals. And they want to stay wild and they don't want to be overwhelmed or hurt by people, and people are a threat in their eyes. So they can just look aggressive. They can be aggressive though, for sure. You don't want to mess with them. Oh, that's awesome, Scotty. Nothing like a good old banana at sunset. Find that old pile of bananas while everybody else is out doing stuff. Swat at some flies. Eat the mushy brown ones. Life is good. That old cabbage pile. I love the light. Our sunsets here are unbelievable. Like, no matter what, we get such great sunsets. It's really cool. This is like a monkey's dream right there. Yep, this is my home. It's got 3 walls and a pile of bananas. I sleep on the bananas. I eat the bananas. I shampoo in the bananas. I throw dinner parties in the bananas. Bananas is life. I wouldn't know what to do without my bananas. When I need to go to the store, I just take my magic banana carpet. Yeah, Jeff, I think anything is always better than just sitting around. You know? You just gotta keep trying to. That's the other thing. It's just like keeping it going. Amy, they pretty much go back into wild animal mode. Like, so with the babies, they tend to be with so many different volunteers throughout their period. Like, they interact with so many different people. They do have a few that are like consistent, like the baby staff, but for the most part, they just, you know, they meet a bunch of different people, so they never really bond with any one person in particular. Some do bond with like the baby mom or something, and that's why the baby mom is kept away during the integration process, where the babies are meeting their foster moms, because we don't want them to be trying to call out or distracted by the human baby mom. But for the most part, once they're out there, we do our best to not interact with them on that level, and it doesn't take very long because like there's not any reason for anyone to be like face to face with those babies constantly. So once they're out there, they just get used to being with their moms and the other monkeys, and they start following the lead of the others, and the adults are more weary of people at the fence and stuff, so the babies just sort of like go along with that. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'd say I've seen them a couple of times where I'd be like, oh, this monkey looks like it remembers me or something. But at the same time, I think that that's just me noticing a monkey looking at me and being like, oh, I wish this monkey would remember me, and then they don't.
A little white dot under the right eye. Male.
The females don't get spayed, Scotty. So spaying and neutering is like castration. We vasectomize the males so that they still retain their testicles, since they're so important for their like social communication, physical communication, since they are indicators of rank and you know, status and stuff. But the males are vasectomized at 2.5 years of age, and it works pretty well for the most part. And we're actually coming into vasectomy season right now, so a lot of the males will be getting trapped and vasectomized. I might do an episode. If you guys are interested, I'll do an episode about that. Let me know in the comments if you do want to see that episode, because I know this vet that came last year, a woman named Cheryl, who's really funny, really awesome person. She's coming back out soon, and we'll be doing all the vasectomies, which basically is like people waiting endlessly to trap the monkeys, and then once you trap them, you bring them down there to the sickbay area. She goes into surgery with the monkey, and she gives them the vasectomy, and then they get sent back out. I think they recover for like a day or two and then they're sent back. But it's not a big deal. And it's not hard to do. It's just having someone who knows how to do it is the biggest thing. And hopefully it's a vet that doesn't have to be paid, that just wants to do it because they love having the experience. And that happens to be who Cheryl is, so, you know, couldn't ask for a better situation. A banana skin tutu. Yeah, I realized I just literally explained what you guys were already discussing in chat. Thanks, Misty. Yeah, it's an interesting process. I'll definitely put an episode together about it.
So that fight, or that play, just turned into a little bit of a more serious situation right there. That's why they started making sounds, and everybody got kind of worried.
Serious situation is turning into
dominance mounting.
Even more serious situation. Yeah, I'll slowly pan the camera away. Yeah, once they've been vasectomized, it has no effect on their testicle color or anything like that. It's just like, I believe it's just like tying a tube, or like you either like tie it or snip it. I'm not sure if it's the same, because I'm pretty sure in humans you can actually have it reversed sometimes. I might just be full of it. I don't actually know.
So a few of these are probably...
But that's what I thought I had heard.
This lady, Beyonce's kids.
No, the females don't get spayed. Just the males get vasectomized. Awesome. I'll definitely do a vasectomy episode. I just love when they lie down and like get groomed and the babies come up like that and just like, yep, chill out time, playing with their little older siblings, and it's just so nice. Like, they're very much like us, where it's like during the day when it's hot, they're just like, nah, like, don't bother me, I'm chilling, like, it's hot, I want to sit in this tree, I want to drink my mojito, and I want to chill. And then the sun starts to set and it's like, ooh, you guys feel that breeze? Like, what do you say we go for a walk or something? Like, this is getting nice out now. And then they just like get out there and, ooh, this grass is soft, and just plop down and get those grooms. It's a rough life being a vervet. It's a real rough life, but you know, some monkey's got to do it. That baby is too cute. Just keeps getting its tail bit. Oh man, look at them. They're adorable. No, Scotty, it's actually it's an interesting thought. It's a specific hormone that releases, and it changes during different times of the year, especially during mating season. Let's see if I can remember. So this National Geographic article says at a molecular level the color originates from the Tyndall effect, the scattering of light by the skin itself. The skin of blue-hued monkeys also has unusually neat and orderly collagen fibers, according to a 2004 study. Wow, they're so well organized that a change of as little as a millionth of an inch in size of or distance between would produce a different color. Wow. So it says here that Lasula, which is a primate only formally discovered in 2007, has bright blue scrotum and buttocks, and it turns white when they die. Patas monkeys also have an aquamarine scrota. Vervets are more turquoise. It's only in adolescence that the colors start to change. I don't remember. I know I saw a video that said exactly what it was, but there is a specific chemical in the body that's released that changes the color of their testicles, which I found super interesting. There you go, Jeff. Thank you. A pretty old sunset. I was just talking about the sunset. And go figure, it's about sunset time here. Whoa, crazy, trippy. Who would have guessed? We'd have sunset on video and sunset in real life. It's like I'm looking out my window when I'm looking into my computer screen. Whoa. Of course, fighting with the D&D troop, even at sunset. No matter how nice the weather is, there's always time for a fight. So I'm going to try and do these streams every Monday. That's been my goal. I've been busy and stuff's gotten away from me lately. But I was out of town for 2 weeks as well. But I think this might be the new way that I do it. I think I might just go out and film like a lot of bandit footage, and then we can just watch that together or something, talk about stuff. Because otherwise I can do the episode stuff, but currently I feel like most of the episodes that I'm working on are like heavily dialogue driven episodes, or have like things that I don't want to reveal in like in a stream at the beginning of the week before the episode comes out. It's a little bit easier when I'm doing stuff where I have to like go through a lot of footage of the monkeys and you don't really know what I'm gonna use in the end. But I think for now I don't have any episodes that would work great that way without revealing too much that I don't want to give away. So I think I'll start doing this if you guys are enjoying watching this bandit footage. I also might see about upgrading my internet. I just don't know if that's in the cards right now. But I'd love to be able to get a little bit better bitrate so that this video quality is better for you guys, because I feel like it's kind of pixelated, which is a shame, because I'd love for you guys to have a much clearer quality of these bandits, or just of the video of the monkeys in general. Scotty. Yeah, I'll probably save this stream. I don't see why not. This is a good one. I think the others, part of the reason I didn't want to save the stream was because I was showing footage from like the episode for that week, and I didn't want that to just like be there. You could go watch that, and then you watch the episode for the week, and you're like, oh, what? I kind of want these to be like, special, where it's like you guys are here, so you get to see some stuff that nobody else is ever gonna get to see, and you know. But I'll probably save this one. It's fun too, because then all your comments I think show up on the replay of the episode, and I think that's fun. People can see what we're talking about and all that nonsense. This is just beautiful. Sometimes I just love this landscape and this scenery. I should actually do a shot comparison at this same location. I think when I get off this stream, I'll do another. I'll do a shot of this just so you can see how different everything looks right now, because of how dry it is. This time of year. But yeah, this place is just gorgeous. Sometimes like I just shoot stuff because it's like it just looks so good. But yeah, we're winding down. I want to go walk around and get outside a bit before the sun goes down. I think I'm gonna definitely take a photo from that spot, or a little video clip that I can show you guys the next time we do this, just to make a point.
It's like a bandit convention.
But got a few minutes left on this clip, and this is the last clip that I have. I've gone through a lot of footage today. So when this is done, I'll probably bring the stream to a close. Scotty, no. How's that working out for you? Is that good? Is that that spray paint doesn't? It's not too much of an irritant or anything, is it? I just want to know. I just want to know if it works, because that's some next level knowledge right there. If that's working for you.
Looks like everyone's preparing for a big fight with D&D troop.
Yeah, Lori, there's been a lot of
It's
fires
Sunset
around
Run.
already, like all around the property. While I was out of town, I know there was one on the farm just below us, but it didn't get close to us at all. But I know that some people went down to go help out and take care of it. But yeah, it's just the Limpopo province, like municipality. Limpopo is the province that we're in. They put out a thing like a week or two ago that was just basically like no open fires unless it's like a designated area for the purpose of cooking, like no smoking in vehicles, no smoking out, whatever, just because it's so dry. And it's like you throw a cigarette on the ground and poof, everything just lights up in an instant. And there's no fire service here. Like that's one of those things, like I don't know if you guys know this, but like it's so crazy. Like
They're all
there's
juveniles,
police, but there's no
all around the same age.
city ambulance.
Like
There's
two,
private ambulances, like we have
one
private
year old,
ambulances in the
1 year
U.S.
old, 2 years old.
But we also have hospital
2.5.
ambulances. But those private ambulances, like there's a lot of them, you know. Here there's like one or two in this like area, like and they're not real like ambulances. It's like somebody's modified minivan. And then with fire, there's no fire department. It's like local farmers who've banded together to create fire brigades. And it's just like someone who has a pickup truck with like a giant water tank and a pump in the back of their truck, and they bring it out. So you know, it's like you could have two fires at opposite ends of this area, and it's like, oh, we need a fire truck, and it's like, oh, well, the one fire pump pickup is busy over there, so you know, deal with it yourself.
Okay.
It's kind of wild. But yeah, fortunately, we haven't had anything like last year. Last year was hectic, man. I will never, ever forget that fire. Like that was. It's just ingrained in my mind. Like just that feeling of waking up in the middle of the night to a phone call from Dave when he's out of town, and him being like, "Hey man, like you need to wake up. There's a fire," and being like, "Huh, okay," and like looking out my window and the whole skyline around me just being flaming red was like, or orange or whatever. Like it was. Oh my god, that was crazy. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's everywhere." He was like, "I know. Go wake some other people up." I was like, all right. Just went out there and handled business. But yeah, that was ridiculous. Hello, Sandra. You just tuned in for the end, but fortunately I'm going to leave this up so you can easily go back and watch anything you want to. Well, not anything you want to, but you can catch up with what we've done already. I don't know. If only the rash was blue instead of red, Scotty. Oh yeah, Jeff, that's constant. I mean, yeah, the animosity is huge. That's how most of the monkeys end up here, you know? It's just... I don't know, I don't talk about it. Like, I've got a lot of friends who live up in a local village called Hainensburg, and I'll go up there and it's just like... I get introduced as like the Vervet Monkey guy, or like the guy who made the monkey documentary, whatever, and they're just like, "Oh, you work with Vervet Monkeys? I shoot those all the time. You can come to my farm, you can shoot a ton. They'll probably be dead though." And it's like, "Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, this is grade A conversation. Love it. Thanks, guys." So yeah, that's a thing that happens quite often. I just laugh it off, I guess. I'm not really one for like creating conflict, especially like in a situation like that where like it's not gonna come to any fruition. Like it's not gonna solve anything. It's just gonna be the same pointless thing, and it's just like somebody who wants to just like troll me in person and talk nonsense. So it's just like it's not worth it to like engage in that BS. But yeah, I just you just take it with a grain of salt. I think that's what Dave does as well. Yeah. You guys ready for this? Oh, wait a second. I have to do something really funny. So the video's all over. Blueberry juice. Yeah, no fire saves, nothing like that. Wait, I just want to do one thing so you guys can see something that I set up that I think is freaking hysterical. Oops. Okay. Yes? Is this gonna work? We shall see if this works. I hope you can still hear me. I don't Man. Yep. It's making me laugh and nothing's even happened yet. And I just know that you guys are seeing this and it's my favorite. Yep. This is my new favorite background for when there's no video playing and I just want to talk about stuff. Yeah, you can have that, Scotty. Go for it. Yeah, Misty, I've seen a lot of video and stuff about the bushfires, and I know that's just, yeah, the Australian bushfires are gnarly. It's because you guys have huge areas where there's just like hundreds and hundreds of hectares of like farmland and no one around and stuff, and that's just unbelievable to have to deal with that. And like one farm fighting their own fires, like all the way off like 30 kilometers away. They gotta go drive to just deal with their fire. It's crazy. Not really, Linda. Not really. And even then, like I said, it's up to the like private individual to try to do their best to solve those sort of issues. And that kind of a thing would be really expensive, so it would be hard for people to get their hands on. Yeah, Scotty, that's my favorite. It's Darcy, the Crusher of Worlds. All right. Yeah, I really enjoyed this with you guys, but I think it's time for me to go catch that sunset and all that good stuff. I'll post a story up right now from that same spot on my Instagram account, which is at Vervet_Forest. That little link that just showed up in the chat. I'll post a story for all of you if you guys have Instagram, so you can check it out. Of that spot that I was talking about, that I was going to show the comparison where that monkey was lying on the tree trunk, and there might be a monkey there now. So thank you all very much for joining me. That was great. Thank you to everyone who donated using that super chat button at the bottom of the chat. It's very awesome. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys want to become a patron, help me out and all that stuff, all those links, same blah 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 that I usually give you, all that good stuff. I'll leave this up. Check that Instagram out. I will catch you all later on. Thank you very much.